You know, there are podcasts that start just like from background
Of like
just
docking?
banter.
Oh.
This will
Yeah.
be edited out.
Really? Okay, fair. Okay, fine.
This is Flipphoneconfessional, where drama flipped harder than my Motorola. I said I'd alley in a text got left on red. Now I'm scream singing Fallout Boy in my bed. We're spilling secrets from the T9 days, crushing on skaters in anal ways. Grab your chain wallet and your black nail pen. We're dialing back to when life made no sense. Time to confess.
What is up, 90s kids, millennials, 80s babies? This is Justin, aka 90s Kid for Life, or the 90s guy. With your feedback, I started a podcast, and I would like to introduce my special co-host.
Way to go, Justin.
Johnny fucking Tsunami. But he also has a name, everybody.
What up? What up? I'm Brandon Baker. Hi, guys. And Johnny Tsunami.
And yeah,
Yada, yada.
famous 90s celeb. Everybody knew you growing up. Cult following. We can
Cult
at least
following,
say
sure.
cult following.
Yeah.
I mean, anytime I post a Johnny Tsunami skit on my page, blows up. You're welcome for the
Sick.
exposure.
Thanks,
that
buddy.
you get zero residuals from.
That I didn't even know about. Sick. Awesome. Yeah.
You don't get residuals from.
Your post? No, I
No,
don't.
I meant
Yeah.
from. Do you get anything from Johnny Tsunami?
I
Still?
do.
Do you really? Is it pennies?
Yes, correct.
What was your last
exponentially
What was your
decreased.
last residual check?
I don't know exactly, but I definitely showed my wife the other day. I got a 2-cent check
From Disney.
from something. I don't know what it was, but it's probably a guest star on a show that played in Southeast Asia somewhere 90 times and got bundled into a 2-cent check. Yeah.
Is that the lowest check you've received?
Yeah, I've not gotten 1 cent yet. I've not gotten the 1 cent, but the 2 cent. We have it. I think I'm going to frame it. Because,
Like, is that almost insulting that they sent you 2 cents? Or is that just laughable at this point?
there used to be a bar in LA called Residuals.
Uh-huh.
And if you brought a residual check under $1, you would get a free drink. And they'd take the check and they'd staple it to the wall.
We should do an episode from that bar.
Great call.
That'd be hilarious.
If it exists still.
All right.
But yeah.
Shout out Residuals.
Shout out
He still
Residuals.
exists. We'd love free drinks because he's getting 2 cent checks.
Correct. Exactly.
And we need to farm content everywhere we go.
But point being, yeah, like I thought it was fucking hilarious that I got a 2-cent check. And so did my wife.
Sense.
Yeah.
I think I heard something of like one of the co-stars from Even Stevens was talking about, or like Secret Life of Zach and Cody or something.
Mhm.
They talk about like getting $3 residual checks.
Oh yeah. Well, because it's like it's like bundled and compiled in all these like different. Honestly, I don't even know how it works. How SAG compiles that, but they compile it in different areas of the world
Okay.
over a specific amount of time. So I will see that it did play 90 times in the Southeast Asia region. And that was like worth 2 cents. It cost more for them to mail it to me, to print it on the piece of paper. So yeah.
Does SAG get a cut from that still
Definitely. Yeah.
for your union? Do you pay your union dues? Are you still in SAG? Are you
Great
still?
question. I think I am. I don't know exactly. I think I might be like grandfathered in. It's like I think you need to pay dues to a certain extent or work enough over a certain period of time. Like I have a SAG and after retirement. I'm like part of that retirement fund.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
They're really contributing that with your half a cent.
Correct. Exactly. Yeah. How much is my fund? Who fucking knows? Yeah.
So, everybody, our podcast is called Flipphoneconfessional.
Let's go.
We're really excited. This has been months in the making, actually, after many troubleshooting issues. We were going to record last week, and of course, my power went out, which was awesome. Not just my power, to clarify. My, like, what was that? Like 20, 30 square miles of northern Colorado.
Correct. I
Power
left
went
your
out.
house and like drove for like a half an hour and then found light again.
We even tried going to a movie just to kill time, and it was also pitch black. So that didn't work out. But to kind of give you an idea of the show that you guys have been asking for years, I know I've been saying I was going to create a podcast, and I
Hell yeah.
finally have. Once I found the perfect co-host to do it with me.
The night is young.
Yeah.
We'll see how it goes.
We'll see how this goes. We wanted to kind of give you an overview of what the show is going to be about. For those of you who have followed me for a while, know I love all things nostalgia, 90s, early 2000s, and it's going to revolve a lot around that, but we don't want to be too niche. We certainly want to talk about relative things today that affect millennials, our fellow millennials, current events, things trending. We certainly want to get into those topics, and
Definitely.
also going to get, celebrity interviews. We both have a Rolodex of people that we can communicate with and
Hell
hopefully can beg and plead to get on the show that find us interesting enough, or my platform interesting enough to talk about. But if you want to think about it in creators' terms, think of Good Mythical Morning and what was his podcast show again? Dak Shepard podcast. We both forgot it already.
God damn it.
Yeah, no.
One brown and one white.
No, Armchair Expert.
Oh, that's
Think of if Good Mythical Morning and Armchair Expert had a baby. So certainly the idea that I have, or the dream that we have, is we certainly want to do goofy skits, like old food tastings, old drink tastings. We want to have contests, but we also want to engage the audience for you guys. Bring in your stories, read them on aloud on our podcast. Also, just, poll questions. We want to hear from you because
totally
you're what matters to us, and you are essentially going to make us successful if this podcast does go anywhere.
Thanks for being here.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
If you've made it this long, we greatly appreciate it. Especially, we are going to do both audio and video. We're recording from my phone, so I have no idea how it sounds or how it looks, but it'll be up on YouTube. Follow the Instagram page, Flipphoneconfessional. We're going to post clips there. But appreciate you being here and follow us along for our journey, especially as for some of you may know, I'm going into content creation for full time.
What?
Because I got laid off unexpectedly 3 weeks ago.
Yay.
Hooray, universe.
Fuck corporate America.
Yeah, just
Loving
essentially pushing me over a cliff that I need to do something different. And
Yeah.
what was it? Pressure makes diamonds? Is that?
Blessing in disguise.
Yes.
Well, I did just want to say thank you for having me.
Yeah.
Thank you for opening several things to me.
Nice.
Yeah, biologically or otherwise. Podcasts on my end is something that I've thought about for years and have just kind of wanted someone to do it with me. So I was like, when you asked me a few months ago,
That was like, what, April? That's how
something
long it's
like
been?
that.
Yeah. I think it
Yeah.
was like mid-April, maybe
Yeah.
May. Crazy.
You're like, I have an idea in mind. And it just felt like this. There's been several times in my life where I've not had to think too long about something. Like something comes my way, an opportunity, and I just know that, like, yes, that's the thing that I've been waiting for. Or that's the thing that I want to do. And and I love feeling that. And it's felt that. I mean, like, ever since I met you at the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
It's been,
Which is crazy. It's been 7 months since
Yeah.
that. That's how fast this year's gone by. 2025 has been
Oh,
a
that's
blink
wild.
of an eye.
but it's felt so easy from the very beginning.
Correct. Like,
Um,
and this kind of leads into how this podcast came about. Was from that. I was hosting a convention down in Orlando at Decade Days. You were one of the talents
my
there.
first convention ever.
First convention
Yeah.
coming out of the woodwork. Just like, hey, I want to get back in the spotlight. You were there.
I guess, sure, yeah.
And we were sitting next to each other, and we just started having conversations. Like, we gel. Like,
Well,
our
this-
humor gets one another's humor.
Also, you seemed like a normal dude. I was like, oh, this seems like an actual person that I can talk to that isn't fully embedded
Like influencer content,
in
like arrogance.
in their ass.
Yes, yeah,
exactly.
correct.
Whether or not, nothing against anyone who wants to be up their ass. And, maybe look at me on a podcast. So maybe I am
Yeah, but I would
part
say
of that as well.
I would say the same to you. Like, I would say 90% of the talent that was at that convention was super chill, down to earth.
I
But
agree.
there was a
Yeah,
couple
yeah.
people where you're like, man, you are still like holding on dearly to fame that isn't really exactly yours anymore.
And who am I to judge? Because, like, everyone, like, I think I felt to some degree a kinship with some of those people there.
Yeah.
That were still holding on to that. In a sense that was like, oh, I know you, or there's a version of myself that I see part of myself in you. And so, like, while I don't want to feel that way, and I'm glad that I don't feel that way, it was like, oh, interesting. This is like a part of my life, having not acted for like over a decade now, that I don't interact with that much. And it was my very first convention. And I thought, like, even my wife was like, hey, should I come with you to this convention? I'm like, babe, I do not know anything about this. This might be a total fucking shit show. So why don't you chill? And if I figure out that, like, it's actually cool, then come with me to the next one. At the very least, I'll get a positive, interesting experience out of this. Maybe make a couple of friends.
Yeah.
And in meeting you, I was like, oh, this is cool. I met, like, actually a cool dude that I think I'm going to have a friendship beyond this. Yeah, and
And
here we are.
And it was a super easy convention too. It wasn't too big. It wasn't like overwhelming as opposed to like, 90s Con, Comic Con, because New York has Comic Con, San Diego has Comic Con. It had a pretty decent turnout for what it was.
Shout out to Decade Days.
Yeah, shout out to Decade Days. But I think I remember you telling me something there where it was like, I see people here who have moved past what their fame was, and then you see people here who are desperately like clinging to that still.
Yeah.
And you were someone who left that life completely. So I think the audience would be interested of like your perspective of, people who still hold on and what life is like moving past that.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, for me, it felt right. I left LA, California, maybe like almost 10 years ago now. I live in Colorado now.
Mm-hmm.
And I love it out here. And it gave me the opportunity for the kind of first time in my life to self-actualize once I left California. Like I guess I could have pursued film and TV out here, but to what end, I don't even really know. And it was the first time where I got to like actually be away from not only friends and family, but the industry at large, like agents, managers. Like, okay, well, nobody has any connection to me out here in Colorado. And at first that was like really kind of like lonely and a little confusing and a little scary of like, who am I actually? And then after that, once I finally made peace with that, I was like, oh, wow, I don't know who I am in a great way. No one knows me out here in a great way. And I can kind of piece back together what felt like a more solidified version of myself, because, when I started acting, was working full time before I hit puberty.
Well, how old were you when you had your first acting gig? Let's start there.
Like my big break was Jungle Book, and I was in 6th grade. So I was like 12 years old.
And that was what, 91, 92?
I'm not that old, but it was 74.
Yeah.
Spring of 74.
It was early. Was it 94?
I think it was 96, maybe came out in 97.
Okay.
Something like that.
Got it.
Yeah.
All right.
Before that, I'd done like educational videos, but that was the first one of like, oh, I'm starring in a Disney movie.
Okay.
And yeah, just, to have your identity, your career established before I had any like really freedom to choose. Not that anyone was making me do it. It wasn't like that. But it took off, and it was kind of like a runaway train in mostly a good way, in ways that were like also complex and confusing. And shout out to therapy and journaling and life experience and good parents in the community helped me figure that out. But to answer your question, going back to like Decade Days and being with people it was two things. It was like, oh man, I haven't been around people who are in the industry for a long time.
Yeah.
And this feels really weird, and I kind of feel like an odd man out in a way that like honestly felt good, of like, oh wow, I have not thought in this way of publicizing myself for a long time. Now, I wanted to go to Decade Days because I was like, oh, I think this is for the first time in a decade, I'm kind of ready to put myself out there in that way and just see like what happens. Like, it may have just been a one-off, and that was a cool random experience that I had. On the other hand, I did feel, like I said, somewhat of a connection to these people of like, oh, this guy in the booth next to me and this girl in the booth next to me has their own version of Johnny Tsunami for them.
Got it.
To where people at the grocery store, like, oh my gosh, I know you from somewhere. Are you in that thing?
Yeah.
In a way that like Nina doesn't understand, my wife, in a way that even you don't understand quite to the same extent, but they totally get that little slice of my life. And that was actually really cool. I was like, oh, that's cool to meet these people and to share some of these stories. You and I got several stories actually that weekend.
Yes.
From a few different people.
Yes. Those will come later.
Those will come later. Yeah. After a few glasses of free booze, stories started flowing. But anyway.
And free video games too, which is great.
Correct.
Well, yeah. So going to that, then it was nice to be around people you relate to, because people can only relate to your life experience to an extent, but these people lived through the pretty much something similar. Not the exact, but
pretty similar.
Was it Disney? Was it Nickelodeon?
Totally.
Was some random movie? Great.
Yeah.
They had their time in the fame, and then it faded for whatever reason, by their choice or otherwise. And then it's like, okay, I relate to these people. So that was cool for you to actually get to have conversations with people you relate to in a way.
Totally. I mean, honestly, the whole convention was just fascinating. I mean, everyone that I met there was awesome. All of the guests that came, someone came with like a huge like poster, like a flag with like my face on it.
How was that?
Oh, is like I just like went home and like, told my wife about, the flag, and she's like, "Yeah, babe, I don't care." And I was like, cool, very chill. No, it was pretty wild and humbling that someone would care that much. I honestly like oftentimes forget about my acting days because I'm just a normal person going about my life. So that was like just a trip to just see how this thing that I did 25 years ago like still resonates with people. So that's super rad. One more thing to add to that. Also, the convention itself is just fascinating for like everyone who's there attending as talent. Because the thing about going to a convention, and at a convention like this, now I've not been to a ton of conventions, but at least this convention that I went to, it is such an interesting slice of fame and notoriety. Because you, in order to be there, you needed to be successful at a certain point to some extent, to warrant you being there, to being invited there. But you're not so successful that you wouldn't be caught dead being there, right?
I don't know. I would pause on that because Chad Michael Murray was there.
Fair. But
and his line was insane.
Totally. But like Brad Pitt's not there. You know what I mean? Like there's a stratosphere of success to where one doesn't need to go to this or doesn't want to, and therefore has the freedom to not do it if they don't want to.
I guess that's, I feel like Chad has that freedom, but I think he does enjoy going to these conventions.
Super fair. Totally fair. Yes.
He's been in a lot of stuff recently.
Well, I mean, he's still working.
Yeah,
exactly.
Freaky Friday comes out. This is not a plug. Disney, feel free.
That's true. Yeah.
If you want to sponsor us, that'd be great.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think he was in another movie, but he's got that. But seeing his line, like for being there for only one day.
No, seeing his hair is incredible.
Gorgeous.
Yes.
Like, good looking dude.
Beautiful head of hair.
Beautiful human.
Honestly, a super nice guy.
Yeah, the fact that he gave me like 10, 15, he did the skit with me, which was, I thought was
went great.
Yeah, which again,
awesome.
I just wanted like 10 seconds of his time, be like, yo, do the skit with me. And he was nice enough to do that. But then afterwards, giving me like 10 to 15 minutes while on his lunch break to just like talk about his life, about his experience, about what he's doing now. That was super cool. Like, I was not expecting that type of person.
He's a really cool dude.
Yeah, I had kind of preconceived notions of like, okay, he's hot. He's been in Hollywood. Probably not going to be the nicest person in the world. It can't be further from the truth. Like, Chad was awesome.
Yeah.
But there were some people who had much less fame, especially now, who were like kind of rude.
Right.
Yeah. And I'm just like, what? Why? Like, why not be like this dude? And maybe it's just a personality. Maybe they're just a-holes to begin with. But I find it so interesting, especially from the people I've met at like 90s Con, like tons of 90s and early 2000s celebs. And some of them just still have such a high ego
idea of themselves.
And it baffles me because I get comments all the time. It's like, dude, you're more relevant than a lot of these people. Like, in as far as like notoriety or people knowing you.
Yeah. I
don't ever view myself from that lens. Maybe it's true, maybe it's not. Like, but it is when I try and put it in perspective is like, holy crap, I've probably had, I don't know, 3 to 4 billion views since doing like my content creation as a total number. I post something with content and it gets under like 500,000 views.
Yeah.
I feel like the biggest failure. But then when you put it in perspectives, like, you look at like, let's say a football stadium, like the Big House in Michigan, or it's not Big House. What is it? In Michigan, is that the Big House or is that Tennessee? Anyway, I think Tennessee or Michigan have the biggest college football stadiums.
Sure.
That's like 110,000 people.
Right.
But you never think of it that way.
Well, how do you actually bridge the gap? Because I think if you were to like perform in front of a stadium of 100,000 people, it has a very specific energetic feeling to it.
Yeah.
You see the number after you throw out like a very successful video of yours.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, sick. That did 750,000. Wow. 1 million people watched that. Incredible.
Yeah.
But you don't actually think, oh my God, I just performed in front of them. You don't at all. Now, I think to some degree that is your personality.
Probably.
You are... What
is
are
it?
you?
Comparison is the thief of joy.
Well, there's that. But you're like, I don't know, you're like the most positive, like realist, or you're the like
most
most
negative,
positive
most
pessimists that I've ever met. You're so weird, man. In a great way. In a way where like you and I are so different in some ways. But
Let's talk about you. Like you said, you started
no.
12 years old, sixth grade, probably, or 11 years old, whatever that is. You started your career. So let's go through your career. You had Jungle Book, Mowgli. It catapulted you into Johnny Tsunami. Tell the audience about what that was like for you.
This is so interesting that we're both hosting this podcast because I definitely want to reject your question there. And,
That's too bad.
Put it back to you. Okay, first of all, I will answer your question. First off, I do want to say you're doing a great job, man.
Aw.
Yes, no, honestly, like in 3 years to have built what you've built is pretty rad. And I hope that you allow yourself time to reflect on that 12-year-old self. Honestly, to just be like, whoa, this is like fucking really cool. This is crazy.
That's true.
And I hope there are times, small moments over a brewski or whatever,
Yeah.
where you get to actually let
Enjoy
that
it.
sink in.
Yeah.
Because when I hear you talking about the shelf life thing, while fair and valid, and that is a reasonable, realistic way to think about things, we were just talking about this a second ago off camera, there also will be a time in which, like, if that shelf life does end, it was the same thing with me coming out here to Colorado 10 years ago. Like, yeah, I mean, I will begin to answer your question here in a second. There's some things that led to me like leaving California to leaving the industry, but I've also been living my own life and having a great time doing it. So in 3 years from now, if we don't have a podcast and you're not doing this at all, let's say you're completely off of social media, I know that you're going to be doing something that you really enjoy doing.
True.
And knock on wood, hopefully we won't have like actually burned each other's bridges and we'll still be friends and boys at that point.
Yeah.
And it'll still just be this thing where we're like living our lives.
True. That's true. That's a good way to look at it.
Yeah.
Again, I'm a pessimist, so I don't like
And
being
I'm the
so-
optimist, which is why this does make sense.
So then, I think the biggest question the audience wants to know is like, where have you been? And
Yeah.
you said you moved to
Geographically.
Yeah, well, yeah, right. You moved 10 years ago, but
Emotionally.
again, 10 years ago only puts us
Sexually.
at 2015. So, you had Johnny Tsunami, you had another Johnny Tsunami movie. I
Yeah.
think you made some cameos in Even Stevens in the early 2000s. So
Yeah.
when did you decide to walk away?
I mean, fully walk away was, about a decade ago.
2015 is when you fully walked away.
Pretty much. I mean, that's when I was dating a girl at the time who went to grad school in Colorado.
Got it.
We moved here.
Got it.
So that was like a pretty major, like, oh, I'm definitely not going to be in California for the next 2 years while you're going to grad school. I found myself at that point already looking for a reason to not be in California. I was like working a few different jobs that were still in California, but not in LA. I was helping my uncle like build houses in San Diego. I was working in a custom furniture shop outside of LA. I was like, I want to be trying something else. And this is after having, a 10-year, maybe even a little bit longer career in acting, but felt like, is this really what I want to do, or is this just what I know? I think that was part of it. It was like, I don't know how much I love this. And also, do you know if I've given myself the ability as an adult to like figure out anything else that I want to do with my life?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh, I had this success and it became this really awesome thing. And everyone in my life loved it. My parents loved it. My friends loved it. My Nana loved it. My managers, my agents. And don't get me wrong, I liked it too.
Yeah.
But I was like, I don't know if this is like the thing.
Mm-hmm.
Additionally, I don't know if I was I didn't feel that I could be as good of an actor as I wanted to be.
What was holding you back from that?
Tough to say. There are certain days in which I'm daydreaming and I think like, oh, maybe that was because I didn't try hard enough, right? Maybe there was a part of me that was like fearful of going 100% into something. But then there's also the part of me that's like, okay, well, maybe the reason that you didn't go 100% into it is because you didn't 100% want to do it. Like you just did it for 10 years.
Yeah.
And it got me to a point of like, okay, this is fun. I have like notoriety. I have a good career. But I didn't really know who I was like inside. I didn't feel like I really had a great sense of self. And that industry is like brutal.
Yeah. It chews you up and spits you out.
Totally. In leaving it, like when I moved to Colorado, pretty much right away, I was like, oh, wow, I actually don't really miss that.
Sense of relief, almost?
Yeah. And it was almost a relief that I felt relief. It was like,
because you were questioning, is this the right decision?
Right.
But then once you got to Colorado, it just reinforced everything
like,
that you decided.
I can't even act even if I wanted to. Oh, that feels awesome.
Hmm.
And then additionally, on top of that, it was also, I actually have even more of a respect now for the people that do it, because being outside of it and looking at it was like, oh, that shit's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Like, I think part of the thinking that I wasn't capable of being the actor that I wanted to be was I also just don't know if I have straight up the disposition to be that, like to be that emotionally, mentally malleable in a given moment's notice, 10 takes in a row, 20 takes in a row, even if you're not on set, even if you're going through acting class, right? And
you were talking about that with Shia LaBeouf when you worked with him. You said you knew from the instant you saw him that
Totally.
he was different than all the other people on set.
Yeah, for sure. In a way where, like, I felt like I was, I had a 12 crayon, 28 crayon coloring box. And he had the 64. It was like, at the age of like 15 is like, oh, you're like an artist. I'm someone who likes being good at things. I'm kind of like a try hard and like, I have an ability to like memorize lines. I have ability to access certain emotions, but you are an artist. I remember growing up, I would think some people would ask me, I don't know. I just had this distinction of like, I am not an actor, but my name is Brandon and I act. Like there was a separation between my identity. And I knew that when I was like 12.
I have such respect for people like yourself who memorized all those lines, who had the maturity at 12 years old to be a motion picture. That's insane. The amount of lines, because there were some scenes in Johnny Tsunami where you'd go, 30 seconds to a full minute talking on a single cut.
Totally.
It's like at your age to be able to memorize that degree, put emotion into it to feel real, even for a Disney Channel original movie, it's still phenomenal work. Like I think that's impressive for anybody to do especially when you see super young child actors. I don't know how they do it. Like that,
dude, it is wild.
That's crazy. Like someone like Dakota Fanning that was doing.
I was literally about to bring her up.
Like what was it? She's like 6-7 years old doing monologues, and you're like, how in the world can you do that?
She was in one of my acting classes when I was probably like a late teen, and she was a kid.
That's crazy.
And everyone knew in the acting class to just clear out. It was like running a play for Jordan. It's like, nope, we're gonna run ISO for Dakota.
Everybody get out of the way.
Oh, there's things like literally, like I would be in a scene, someone else would be in a scene, and like, everyone would be paying attention.
Yeah.
Everyone would be respectful. But when Dakota got up, silent, quiet, pin drop, and she was brilliant every scene. And that's the thing is like, I could go to acting class. I was a pretty good actor.
Yeah.
I tried hard. Mentally, I was there. Emotionally, I had some accessibility. And there's also that other thing like Dakota had, like Shia LaBeouf had, where, and I could feel it in the moment of like, oh, you're just kind of innately brilliant at this thing.
Someone like a prodigy or
like
something. Like someone who is just born with talent. Everybody has to, there's always someone in any fact of life who is just born with a gift. And there's people who work very hard for it. But it sounds like also you just didn't have the drive. It wasn't just something that you wanted to keep doing, which is, that's okay. That's the universe telling you you're meant for something else.
Totally. I was interested in like, I don't know. I had other interests. I think with like the Shia and Dakota to a degree, but I think definitely with Shia, it's like, oh no, I have to do this. This is like what I'm meant to do. I am a performer. I am an artist. And I always just felt just a little bit to the side of that. I tried also to like really to find more access emotionally to like those harder feelings, whether that's like rage or grief or whatever, and to kind of pull apart my internal world to have access to that had other like side effects in like my personal relationships, even in my relationship with myself. It's like I had a pretty good childhood, generally speaking. And it almost felt like I needed to like have more life experience and more fucked up things happen to me in order to be able to access like those more complex emotions, which then led to straight up to like depression and other shit like that, where I'm like, oh, like I think I'm getting better in acting, but I think I'm feeling worse as a person.
That's wild.
Maybe that is me justifying, my not being able to attain what I want to attain, but I guess I won't ever really know, but that is just what it felt like for me.
Do you think you found what you wanted to do with your life?
No, But I think I know who I am a lot more. I mean, like, I think that like being on this podcast and talking openly in this way is something that I did not feel comfortable doing 10 years ago. I could have done it, but it wouldn't have felt like I had, a foundation to kind of build upon. And I do have that foundation now. At this point in my life, getting back to your original question 20 minutes ago, I'm now out here in Colorado doing a few different things. I work as an adventure elopement officiant. So I marry people up in the mountains of Colorado.
Super badass.
Which is so sick.
Yeah.
It's a ton of fun. After driving in LA traffic for years, I drive up into the mountains and like beautiful lakes and streams of Colorado and marry people in these incredible spots.
You should do it while snowboarding. Be so on brand.
Dude, that is definitely going to happen. Someone actually hired me to do that like a couple years ago and it fell through. I don't know what happened to the couple. I don't know if they broke up.
Wait, you were gonna like go on
we were
a green
snowboard down the hill
Yeah.
with a photographer to a spot and then marry them on like a cornice somewhere.
Dude.
And then board down, which
We
would have
got-
been so sick.
If
so
any
dope.
of y'all want to get married
Please hit
on
me
the
up.
snowboard slopes, let's make it happen.
I've married a few people, like, on the beaches in Hawaii and Mexico and places like that, to where it's like, correct, yeah. It naturally lends itself to like, some ipono moments for sure. Or like, I don't know, like in a month, I'm marrying someone for the first time in a hot air balloon, which is super dope. Like
And scary.
7 a.m.
Yeah.
That too. So I'm doing that. I'm this year just started helping produce festivals,
Music
some music
festival?
festivals out here in
That
Colorado.
you crushed.
Totally crushed. It's called Meadow Creek out here in Buena Vista, Colorado. It's a beautiful spot for these kind of like intimate 10,000 person music festivals.
That's crazy.
So still doing fun stuff, but both of those.
How many times you get noticed at the festival?
A handful of times.
Nice.
Yeah, a
That
handful of
stroked the
times.
ego a little bit.
It's just like, it's yet again, I forget about it. It's like random. Like I'll be like doing my job. I have a walkie-talkie on and I'm on a certain random side quest for the festival. And then someone
They're
stops
like,
me.
wait, are you Johnny Tsunami?
Correct. Yeah, exactly. And they're like, what are you doing here?
And you go, hee hee.
Correct.
I would do that every single time.
Correct. That's pretty much all I say to them. Yeah. The whole time they're like, wow, I met him. Really cool guy, but he just wouldn't drop the bit. Yeah. But both of those jobs now, it's like, the festivals remind me a lot of film production.
Yeah.
And I love the feeling of being on a team. The officiating thing, there's a level of, I want to say acting. The reason that I actually like it is because I get to be myself.
Yeah.
But I'm comfortable speaking in front of people. I'm comfortable kind of like,
It's almost like a production.
yeah,
You're like a director.
like hosting, a crowd, and the love being outdoors. So I mean, because of my past experiences, I find myself in roles where I'm like, oh, cool, like this does make sense, and I'm learning new things. I don't think I'm going to be doing music festivals forever. I don't think I'm going to be marrying people, at least in to this degree, in this capacity, forever. And so I'm like, cool. Well, along the way for this chapter of life in which I'm doing this, like I'm really gaining a sense of how people think about love. Like I have this incredibly large data set now in which to see what marriage is like for people and how they think about their own connection, which is really cool. I have way more of an ability to speak in front of people in that way that I know is going to serve me moving forward. I don't know what the next thing is, but honestly, I don't know, maybe I feel much more comfortable talking on a podcast now, given
Let's
how
hope.
much I talk in my, right.
Let's hope this is the next best thing that takes us on a 5-10 year journey. Fingers crossed.
I don't know what I'm going to be doing in 5 to 10 years from now that will be more aligned with who I've always wanted to be. But I think as long as I remain true to that kind of endeavor in kind of unfurling who I am, then I think it's going to be rad, because I like where I'm at now. And in 5 to 10 years, I certainly hope that I'm still taking care of myself in that way and remaining true to myself in that way, that I'm still doing that.
That's why we're called Flipphoneconfessional, y'all. See, we get deep here.
Whoa,
on the
man.
pod. Whoa, man. Well, for those of you that stuck around, thank you for...
Way to go.
Yeah. Thank you for hanging out with us.
Thanks, Mom.
Hearing Brandon's story, which I find really cool and interesting. I hope you guys did too. But
Thanks, man.
for those, this is our first podcast. We're going to troubleshoot, trial by fire. We're going to try and make each episode suck a little less each time. I heard that. That was that's a good quote.
That is.
I'm going to say that as my quote. I learned this like 10 years ago in the finance industry, where on my sales pitch or being in sales, it's like, your goal should just be to suck a little less each day. And I really like that, because you're not I think too many people get caught up striving for perfection when perfection shouldn't be the goal. You should just be moving the needle a little bit more so you're better than you were yesterday. So I'd say suck a little less each day. Coming from a pessimist, that's probably right on brand for it. But I mean, I'm excited to see where this takes us. Will it go to the moon? Maybe, maybe not. Will we go to the stars even? Probably not. Probably SpaceX blow up somewhere after launch, but
it's nice. But hopefully we suck a little bit less each day. I'm with you.
Yeah. And again, for those who are watching, for those who are listening, love y'all, appreciate y'all.
Thank you.
Subscribe. We're going to be on TikTok, YouTube, Instagram.
Let's go.
Subscribe to all the socials. I heard this the other day. It doesn't cost you any money to support content or people you enjoy. I'm not asking for a handout. All we need is a like and a follow. That's good enough for us. But
yeah,
we appreciate y'all being here, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks, guys. Yee-hee! Bono!
Bono!
Don't let the signal fade away. You know I'm just one flip away. We laugh, we cried, we press in till we confess again, my friend.